Coming up on Rental Nightmares.
What is this? What is this?
It's a big root, Chef.
Big root? Have I gone daft? Or are you taking the piss?
It boosts my drain punch.
Use Big Root to boost Drain Punch. How about I use Big Root to bonk you on the head? Couldn't possibly make you any dumber. Big Root Drain Punch. I've seen better stats than yours in Little Cup! What are you?
A worthless Evo.
20% chance to Omni Boost. 80% chance to do all. Big meaty claws! Kitchen Nightmare. Rental Nightmares.
Today on Rental Nightmares, we're going to Poketopia in the Sinnoh region to taste test Genius Sonority's latest culinary crimes. Here, at Shea Chatot. Maybe it's Chatot. Pokemon Coliseum and XD, Genius Sonority's other restaurants, had horrendous rosters featuring some of the stinkiest mons in Johto and Hoenn, but at the very least, you could season them with extra XP or disguise your disgust with some TM moves. If you've never played Pokemon Battle Revolution, you have no idea how bad it gets. Let's just say that if I instigated a battle revolution, I know who I'd hit with a 30% hit chance guillotine, okay? Pokemon Battle Revolution is sometimes called Pokemon Stadium 3. I wish. Pokemon Stadium 2 was a Gen 2 game. Gen 2 had 251 Pokemon available, and Pokemon Stadium 2 had 251 rentals. Some of them were horrifically burnt, like Mudslap Tyranitar, but at the very least, you could curate the cream of the crap, and if you lost, at least you lost your way. With Slugma. Pokemon Battle Revolution is a Gen 4 game. Gen 4 had 493 Pokemon total, nearly double Gen 2. So of course, Pokemon Battle Revolution has 36 rentals. That's it. They're all on screen. That's all of them! And you know what? You don't even start with the entire dumpster. They spoon feed you this garbage one trash bag at a time. Garbodor's not even in this game. You want real Pokemon? Diapa's only $40 US. No support for platinum mechanics, by the way. Let's go over our star rating system. Here on Rental Nightmares, we use a scale from -5 stars to 0 stars. -5 stars. These Pokemon are so vile. No amount of seasoning can salvage them. The best thing you can do with these is pick them for the atrocious Coliseum that scrambles teams, because then you can give them to your opponent, which makes them bad. -4 stars. These Pokemon are unusably bad, and you should never pick them. -3 stars. These Pokemon are extremely bad, and you should only pick them in dire circumstances. -2 stars. These Pokemon are very bad, but have some use cases. They usually don't just flop over dead. -1 star. These Pokemon are bad, but most Pokemon are even worse, so may as well. 0 stars. These Pokemon are the cream of the crap. You should always pick these. Also, for some sick reason, the rentals have variable IVs and natures, which means enormous 20 to 30% stat swings based purely on RNG. If you're playing this game, you can't be that lucky. Surely this thing would be Serene Grace. It's adamant. It's adamant. Why are natures randomized? It literally could not be worse. We'll also be rating each pass overall. Although you can mix and match the rental Pokemon to minimize the damage you take, that's only after you earn the pass itself, which you have to do by winning a gauntlet of 7 battles. And with some of the more borked passes, even that is gonna be a challenge. I'm not gonna go too in-depth into my ranking criteria, but every battle in this game is bring 6, pick 3 if it's singles, pick 4 if it's doubles. If you have good stats and good matchups, you'll probably be good. I'm not actually a stall hater, despite what all of my in-game tier lists suggest, but stalling generally doesn't work in 3v3, and it definitely doesn't work in doubles. And spoiler, none of the Pokemon that you get on the rental passes can do it anyway, so basically, defensive Pokemon bad, yet again. Alright, let's dig in, shall we? Several Pokemon on the rental passes have Dig, by the way.
The appetizer will be Cindy serving us the Kanto Classic, featuring Ivysaur, Charmeleon, Wartortle, Dragonair, Rhyhorn, and Pidgeot. Cindy is one of the rental passes you can select at character creation, along with Nate's pass. You'll need to battle with and earn the one you don't choose, so choose carefully. Ivysaur has the Overgrow ability and is holding a Miracle Seed. Its moves are Magical Leaf, Toxic, Leech Seed, and Cut. Grass is one of the worst attacking types in the game, and Magical Leaf is only 60 base power, but it does have the upside of perfect accuracy. This actually is relevant because the single worst Coliseum in the game, Courtyard Coliseum, has a chance to be shrouded in fog that then cuts all accuracy by 40%. Great, wonderful, amazing design, but hey, your 60 base power grass move will never miss. Toxic and Leech Seed is a combo known for causing instant death in Gen 1, but this is Gen 4, so the death is quite protracted. Stall moves are very useful on stall Pokemon with defensive stats, so not on Ivysaur. It's also not Ivysaur's fault, but the enemy variety is abysmal. It's basically the Clone Wars, where you face endless legions of the exact same terrible Pokemon. And what Pokemon tend to be terrible? Grass and Poison types, which are immune to either Leech Seed or Toxic, or both. The synergy in this moveset is bollocks. The types that resist your Plan A Magical Leaf are also likely to be immune to your Plan B residual damage. So then what do? Use Cut? Well, I'd say that this is a moveset a little kid would have cooked up, but let's be real. A little kid would do better. They'd have 3 grass attacking moves, and they'd at least run Strength instead of Cut.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Ivysaur -3 stars. It's raw! You haven't cooked it!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Yes, believe it or not, this barely qualifies as among the bottom half. It has kinda okay stats, barely functional attacks, but at least it can maybe status an enemy to weaken it for a better teammate. Charmeleon has the Blaze ability and is holding Charcoal. Its moves are Fire Fang, Dragon Rage, Sunny Day, and Bite. This moveset actually isn't too bad, although using Charmeleon's worst attacking stat is a real Reptincell move. Fire Fang is reliable stab with a chance to either burn or flinch. Dragon Rage is kinda bad since 40 set damage isn't impressive in level 50 battles, but it's like discount Draconic Seismic Toss. At least you know exactly what it'll do. Sunny Day is okay. Boosts fire moves, activates Chlorophyll on teammates, and dispels fog. Bite is a perfectly fine coverage option.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Charmeleon -1 stars. It's bland. It's not seasoned.
I'm sorry, Chef.
It's not awful or anything. It'd probably be rated higher if not for it being completely outclassed by Monferno. Wartortle has the Torrent ability and is holding Mystic Water. Its moves are Water Pulse, Rock Smash, Rain Dance, and Yawn. Water Pulse is your stab option, 60 base power with a 30% chance to confuse. That's alright. Rock Smash is definitely not alright. 40 base power is pathetic. A super effective Rock Smash is weaker than a neutral Water Pulse. Rain Dance can power up your water moves and dispels fog. Yawn is great. It's a very reliable disable in case Wartortle can't win its matchup, which it probably can't, so good thing it has Yawn.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Wartortle -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Water is a great type, but Wartortle's stats are really underwhelming. Its offenses are terrible, and its defenses aren't good enough to actually win a war of attrition. Dragonair has the Shed Skin ability and is holding a Citrus Berry. Its moves are Dragon Breath, Thunder Wave, Twister, and Shockwave. Dragon Breath is your best move by far, 60 base power stab with a 30% para chance. Thunder Wave does no damage and can't hit ground types, but for guaranteed 100% paralysis against a dangerous opponent, Thunder Wave is great. Twister is a completely dead move slot. It's only 40 base power, but watch out! Its power doubles to 80 if used against an opponent using Fly! Or Bounce. So I guess you would consider using this move when Grumpigs fly. I never saw a single Grumpig the entire game. Shockwave is only 60 base power, but Electric is a good attacking type, and it ignores Fog!
So how did you like the food?
I rate Dragonair -1 star. It's bland. It's not seasoned!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Dragon has very favorable type matchups without fairies around, and as a second stage pseudo-legendary, Dragonair has great stats relative to the other trash you have access to. It's mostly the low base power moves that let it down. Good luck getting any one-hit knockouts with this thing. Rhyhorn has the Lightning Rod ability and is holding the Soft Sand. Its moves are Dig, Protect, Horn Attack, and Ice Fang. Dig is 80 base power in Gen 4, but it's the highest base power move we've seen so far. Protect might see some use in doubles, I guess. Horn Attack is ass, but it's a cut above Ivysaur's normal move. Ice Fang is a nice coverage option, but you can forget about the flinch chance.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Rhyhorn -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
The move pool is actually decent, but its stats are surprisingly awful. Since Golem and Rhydon were parallels in Gen 1, and Rhydon was a late level Evo, you'd expect Rhyhorn to match up against Graveler. But no, its stats are basically Geodudes. Being extremely slow and having such crippling weaknesses is also a huge problem, because it's very likely that you get sniped by a random quadruple effective water pulse from a Vigoroth or whatever before you ever get to act. Pidgeot has Tangled Feet and is holding a Muscle Band. Its moves are Aerial Ace, Tailwind, Facade, I know it's Facade, and Sand Attack. Aerial Ace is weak at only 60 base power, but at least it's stab and ignores fog. Tailwind is nowhere near worth it in singles, but for doubles, it's a very powerful support move that synergizes with any teammate that's not already extremely fast or slow. Facade's Fail Case is a 70 base power stab move, and if you happen to get statused, it might actually be a Pidgeot sweep. Sand Attack is only good for last-ditch accuracy cheesing, but it's basically the signature move of the Pidgey line by this point, so fair play for including it.
So how did you like the food?
Are you ready? I rate Pidgeot -1 star. It's bland. It's not seasoned.
I'm sorry, Chef.
Pidgeot is one of the best Pokemon in the game. Pidgeot. Pidgeot! Nothing about it is all too exciting, but hey, it has dual stab, it could be worse. If it could be worse than Pidgeot, you know we're in trouble. I give Cindy's Kanto Classic Pass an overall rating of -2 stars. It's very balanced overall, without anything stand out either positively or negatively. Spoiler warning, I think Nate's pass is better, so since Cindy's pass is worse, you should choose it at character creation so that you never have to use it. The second course is Nate's Sinnoh Special, featuring Grotle, Monferno, Prinplup, Luxio, Gabite, and Staravia. Like Cindy, Nate is available as either your starter pass or as a reward for the first Coliseum. Grotle has the Overgrow ability and is holding the Fist Plate. Huh. Razor Leaf is overall worse than Magical Leaf. Yeah, it has high crit, whoop-de-doo. Being a spread move is mostly downside. With 55 base power, it barely tickles at full power, and it's not even noticeable at 70% power. Rock Smash has a pathetic 40 base power, and the sick 20% Fist Plate boost does not save it. Leech Seed has all the same issues as when used by Ivysaur, except now you can't stack residual damage with Toxic. Bite is okay, you can forget about the flinch chance though.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Grotle -3 stars. It's raw! You haven't cooked it!
I'm sorry, Chef.
It's basically physical, monotype Ivysaur with hopeless speed. At least Ivysaur could leave a lasting impression with Toxic. Grotle just survives one hit, nibbles back, then dies. By the way, imagine obtaining the legendary, one-of-a-kind Fist Plate artifact passed down from the god of the universe, then slapping it on your Rock Smash Grotle. Monferno has the Blaze ability and is holding the Meadow Plate. Its moves are Fire Punch, Mach Punch, Sunny Day, and Grass Knot. Fire Punch's extra 10 power is preferable to Fire Fang's flinch chance, and at 75 base power, it's the strongest one-turn stab move we've seen so far. Mach Punch is fighting stab and its priority, which can be useful. Sunny Day boosts fire moves and can dispel fog. Grass Knot is actually extremely useful. Its power is almost guaranteed to max out against rock or ground type targets, who tend to be extremely hefty. Against lighter opponents like the mighty Love Disc, well, that's when you need that sick 20% Meadow Plate boost.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Monferno 0 stars. Finally, some good food.
I'm glad you liked it, Chef.
Our very first Cream of the Crap rating. And yet another review format with the Chimchar line comes out on top. It's almost impossible to screw up great dual typing and good enough speed and offenses. The Genius Sonority chefs definitely bungled some of the ingredients, but this dish is foolproof. You can press Fire Punch and knock out half the Pokemon in the game. Let's monkey madness. Prinplup has the Torrent ability and is holding the Iron Plate. Its moves are Water Pulse, Metal Claw, Rain Dance, and Pluck. Two of its moves, Water Pulse and Rain Dance, are the exact same as Wartortle's and serve the same functions. Water Pulse does about the same damage since Prinplup has better special attack, but Wartortle has the Mystic Water. I have no idea why you would ever choose to use Metal Claw, but if you do, you get a chance to proc an attack boost for 50% stronger Metal Claws or Plucks. And even if you miss the attack proc, you always get the sick 20% Metal Plate boost. Pluck is more useful than you'd think, since almost every enemy has a berry you can yoink from them. I'm not saying Pluck is useful overall, but it's more useful than you'd think.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Prinplup -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
It's basically Wartortle, except instead of the useful backup of Yawn, it has the ridiculous Metal Claw and Pluck coverage. I'd rather have Yawn. Luxio's coming at ya with the Rivalry ability and a Hell Dread Plate. Okay, what is going on here? Is Nate a mod for We Want Plates or something? What is everything about plate? Its moves are Spark, Charge, Quick Attack, and Bite. Spark is your stab option, 60 base power physical with a 30% chance to paralyze. Not too bad. Charge is really bad. It doubles the power of your next electric move and raises your special defense by 1 stage. You would almost always rather just spark twice for the same damage, but with the chance to fish for crits or paralysis. Quick Attack can sometimes come in handy to snipe fast, low-health opponents. Bite would be a lot better with Stab. Time to complain about Monotype Shinx again, but at least it gets Pseudo Stab in the form of the sick 20% Dread Plate boost.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Luxio -3 stars. It's raw! You haven't cooked it!
I'm sorry, Chef.
You might be surprised by that, but that's because I haven't talked about Rivalry. Rivalry is so bad. Against enemies of the same gender, it boosts your attack by 25%, but against the opposite gender, it reduces your attack by 25%. So although on average it doesn't do anything at all, the attack boost rarely gets you bonus one-hit KOs, whereas the attack penalty very often robs you of what would have been 2-hit KOs. It's not like Luxio would be some sort of superstar with Intimidate, but it definitely would have been better. Gabite has the Sand Veil ability and is holding the Sky Plate, of course. I'm actually going to tell you my rating up front here.
So how did you like the food?
I give Gabite -4 stars. The lowest rating so far. It's burned! Have you been living under a stealth rock? Ash isn't the main character anymore!
I'm sorry, Chef.
How is that possible when Gabite has an amazing dual typing and excellent stats for a middle evo? Well, you don't need to be Detective Pikachu to deduce that I censored the moves for a reason. This is why Gabite is -4 stars. Dragon Pulse, Sand Attack, Aerial Ace, and Sand Tomb. Dragon Pulse would be good if not for Gabite's horrific 50 base special attack. Sand Attack is a joke. We were trying to make excuses for it when it was on Pidgeot. What is Gabite supposed to do with this? Aerial Ace is somehow your best move? 60 base power, non-stab. But at least it hits through fog, and it gets that sick 20% Sky Plate boost. Sand Tomb. Do you know what this move does? It's a trapping move that deals residual damage with an initial base power of 15, and with only 70 accuracy. 15 base power with 70 accuracy! You know what this move is called in Japanese? Sunajigoku. Sand Hell. Sand Hell is right. Just kill me now. And bury me in a sand tomb, I guess. Ah. Staravia has the Intimidate ability and is holding the Insect Plate. Its moves are Aerial Ace, U-Turn, Takedown, and Defog. Why does everything have Aerial Ace? Is it because it's one of the first moves in alphabetical order and the devs couldn't be bothered to scroll any further? Yes, I know the devs are Japanese, it's a joke, okay? At least it makes sense on Staravia, and hey, it cuts through fog! U-Turn is really good. It can help you pivot out of bad matchups and has great synergy with your Intimidate ability, and the sick 20% Insect Plate boost. Takedown wouldn't be my choice of stab move. Honestly, not a single attacking move we've seen so far has been optimal, but I guess we'll have to settle for worse return with imperfect accuracy and recoil. Sure. Defog is a huge trap. You would think that it's finally time for Gen 4 Defog to shine. They literally added a Fog Coliseum! But remember that the fog is symmetrical. You lose 40% accuracy, but so does the opponent, so on average, if you defog, nothing has changed except you wasted a turn on defog. And I guess you pseudo-sweet-scented them. RIP evasion. Besides, with Genius Sonority's Aerial Ace fetish, tons of your Pokemon ignore fog anyway.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Staravia -1 star. It's bland. It's not seasoned.
I'm sorry, Chef.
Its stats are a bit low, but with Intimidate, okay dual stab, and the option to U-turn out of hairy situations, Staravia is very rarely a dead pick. I also think it's hilarious that they consider the final Evo Pidgeot on par with the middle Evo Staravia. Obviously, if this were a Staraptor, it would probably be the best rental in the game. Maybe that would make things too easy. I give Nate Sinnoh's Special Pass an overall rating of -1 star. Monferno and Staravia can hard carry most singles matches. It's the third Pokemon, or third and fourth in doubles, that you have to worry about being able to pull their own weight. Since Nate is either a starter pass or the first one you earn, he will only face easy, low-rank opponents. So sadly, Nate's power is kinda wasted. We'll talk more about the stadium rank system later. By later, I mean the very last pass. The third course is Tommy's Troublemakers, featuring Sandslash, Haunter, Metang, Bibarel, Rotom, and Mightyena. Tommy's Pass becomes available to earn after you clear the Waterfall Coliseum. Sandslash has the Sand Veil ability and is holding a Razor Claw. Its moves are Dig, Rock Tomb, Aerial Ace, and Sandstorm. Dig at 80 base power is alright, I wish it didn't take 2 turns. Rock Tomb you'd think would be good, Quake Edge coverage is coveted, but 50 BP, 80 accuracy is kinda yikes, and Sandslash is so slow that you'll need to land 2 before you gain the initiative. We know the deal with Aerial Ace by this point, very meh, but hits through fog. Sandstorm Chip for 5 turns probably isn't worth spending a turn on, but at least it dispels fog and enables your own personal fog with Sand Veil.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Sandslash -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
It has solid physical stats, but it lacks killing power and the speed is bogus. It mostly functions as a slightly better Rhyhorn that doesn't die to Bubble. It dies to Bubble Beam instead. Haunter has the Levitate ability and is holding a wide lens. Its moves are Hypnosis, Sludge Bomb, Curse, and Giga Drain. Hypnosis is way better than you think, because for Daipa, and Daipa only, it was 70% base accuracy, jacked up to 77% by the wide lens. That's better than Sleep Powder, and so busted they had to nerf it immediately in Platinum, which Battle Revolution does not support. How convenient. Sludge Bomb is going to be your go-to move. Even though Poison is the worst attacking type in the game, Haunter has such good stats relative to enemies that even resistant enemies get slimed by Sludge Bomb. When in doubt, start sliming. I'm not gonna say Curse is useless, but I never used it. Its best use is probably dooming an enemy's final Pokemon to die in 4 turns, even though you could probably Sludge Bomb and kill them in 1. Giga Drain at 60 base power is okay. I'd rather have Shadow Ball, or Psychic, or Thunderbolt, but I'll take Giga Drain.
So how did you like the food?
No surprise here, I rate Haunter an emphatic 0 stars. Cream of the crap for sure. Finally, some good food.
I'm glad you liked it, Chef.
Despite being a middle Evo, Haunter has really good stats, especially compared to the rest of the goobers you can use. If there's a threatening Pokemon you can't knock out in 1 hit, you're probably faster, so just bust out a 77% accurate Hypnosis. No, that does not make Wide Lens meta. Your numbers are big enough that you can slime your way through most battles, and Levitate even lets you dodge friendly ground attacks we'll discuss later. It's probably the single best rental in the game, all things considered, although one other rental does come close. Metang has the Clear Body ability and is holding a Metronome. Its moves are Metal Claw, Takedown, Magnet Rise, and Psychic. Metal Claw is your best move by far. Metang certainly makes better use of it than Prinplup, but it's still way too weak to be considered good. Takedown is the first move you're supposed to replace after you evolve from Beldum. Guess they didn't get the memo. Magnet Rise makes you immune to ground moves, but this is almost never worth wasting a move slot, let alone a turn to use. Psychic would be great stab if we were a special attacker, but our mediocre physical attack dwarfs our paltry special attack. Zen Headbutt exists. Why did they give us Psychic? I know why.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Metang -3 stars. It's raw! You haven't cooked it!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Appalling moves, but pretty good stats aside from being sluggish. Intimidate immunity on a physical attacker is nice for doubles, and more importantly, Steel is a busted type, and this is our only Steel type for whatever that's worth. Well, it's worth -3 stars. Bibarel has the Unaware ability and is holding a Destiny Knot. Its moves are Waterfall, Hyperfang, Swagger, and Double Team. Waterfall and Hyperfang are both great stab moves, and Water Normal Stab is almost completely unresisted. Empoleon is on the cover and in the opening cutscene, but you won't see a single one in your playthrough since they'd rather you fight Butterfree 10 times, so Water Normal is actually unresisted. I guess Dialga also resists the combo and is both on the cover and in the opening, but you'll never see one of those either. Swagger is a very spicy meme. Swagger boosts enemy attack and confuses them, but Unaware only ignores enemy stat boosts as they attack you, which means they deal extra confusion damage to themselves at no additional risk to you. Double Team is just nega sand attack. Instead of debuffing enemies, you buff yourself, which is overall better. This is the first set where Genius Sonority was actually kinda cooking. Aside from the useless Destiny Knot, Swagger and Unaware is a fun interaction and a decent backup if either of your great stab options fail you. Only problem with this recipe, it's a Bibarel! These stats are unacceptable.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Bibarel -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Rotom has the ability Levitate and is holding the Wise Glasses. Its moves are Charge Beam, Ominous Wind, Confuse Ray, and Reflect. Charge Beam has a 70% chance to boost your special attack, which is nice. It also has 90% accuracy and 50 base power. Not nice. Ominous Wind has a 10% chance to Omni boost your stats, and a 90% chance to waste your turn using a 60 base power move. Confuse Ray is great if you're lucky, useless if you're not. Just know that on average, you lose when you pick Confuse Ray, since you're guaranteed to spend a turn using Confuse Ray, and your opponent needs to lose 2 coin flips for you to come out ahead. Reflect is an okay support move in doubles, I guess, although dead enemies deal no damage, so that's usually the better strategy.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Rotom -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Great type, but the pathetic base power on its moves really lets it down. The stats are also worse than you think when you think Rotom, because no one has ever intentionally used base form Rotom. The Rotom appliances all get a stat bump compared to vanilla Rotom, but those were all added in Platinum, which this game does not support. Not that they'd give you the better forms anyway. I also can't help but feel an ominous wind blowing. Ugh. Mightyena has the Intimidate ability and is holding an Expert Belt. Its moves are Bite, Protect, Fire Fang, and Ice Fang. Not much to explain with these moves. Terrible base powers, but you can almost always score a super effective hit against the swarms of bug and grass types with a bit of extra punch from the Expert Belt.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Mightyena -1 star. It's bland. It's not seasoned.
I'm sorry, Chef.
Intimidate is great for doubles, and aside from swapping out Bite for Crunch, I can't really make fun of the moveset. It's a Mightyena. What else are you gonna do? It can probably do something in almost every matchup, and that sounds like -1 star performance to me. I give the Tommy's Troublemakers Pass an overall rating of -2 stars. His mother's very proud. Haunter is really good. Just don't let Haunter die. If those can even die. The fourth course is Daisy's Darlings, featuring Beautifly, Golbat, Bellossom, Sneasel, Lopunny, and Lumineon. Daisy's Pass becomes available along with Tommy's right after clearing Waterfall Coliseum. Beautifly has the Swarm ability and is holding a Power Herb. Its moves are Gust, Silver Wind, Solar Beam, and Roost. This is Gen 4, which means Gust is now a special move, allowing Beautifly to exploit its 90 special attack to wreak havoc with a 40 base power stab move that doubles in power against enemies using Fly! Silverwind has a 10% chance to boost all of your stats and a 90% chance to do basically nothing. Power Herb Solar Beam does pretty good grass-type damage. Once per battle, and that's assuming there's no inclement weather cutting Solar Beam's power. Roost is one of the best moves introduced in Gen 4, allowing you to restore half your HP and shed your flying type for a turn, letting you manipulate the type chart and mind game your opponent. That's assuming you have HP to heal, which you won't, because you're a bug flying type and you die instantly to everything.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Beautifly -4 stars. It's burned! Have you been living under a stealth rock? Ash isn't the main character anymore!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Ariados isn't available as a rental, so I guess Beautifly will just have to take up the mantle as the Pokemon with horrible typing, horrible stats, horrible moves. Just awful. Golbat has the inner focus ability and is holding a Lumberry. Its moves are Wing Attack, Zen Headbutt, Bite, and U-Turn. 60 base power Wing Attack is decent stab that pairs exceptionally well with the Technician ability that you don't have. Zen Headbutt is alright coverage. Bite might actually nab some flinches since Golbat's base 90 speed actually outpaces many of the losers you have to fight. U-Turn is fantastic for escaping bad matchups while maintaining momentum. What a great move!
So how did you like the food?
I rate Golbat -1 star. It's bland. It's not seasoned.
I'm sorry, Chef.
Lumberry will almost always be useful, and although Golbat has mediocre stats and moves, a bland recipe is better than some of the kitchen crimes we've seen so far. Quick question, 130 base speed to be exact. Why isn't this a Crobat? Would Crobat really have been too much power to hand out to the free-to-play crowd? It's not even free-to-play, this game costs $50! Whatever, Golbat is fine. It's not quite the gold standard, but I can at least say it's the gold standard. And here comes the shot! Goal! Bellossom has the Chlorophyll ability and is holding an Aqua Berry. Its moves are Energy Ball, Protect, Sunny Day, and Sludge Bomb. Energy Ball is probably the best grass move aside from Leaf Blade, famed for insta-killing enemy Jellicent. Never forget. Protect is always useful in doubles and can let you wall 2-turn moves or slacking in singles. Sunny Day dispels fog, activates your Chlorophyll boost, and would let you spam Solar Beam. If I had it! It also has great synergy with Aqua Berry, since fire moves that Aqua Berry would have saved you from will now kill you thanks to your own Sunny Day. Sludge Bomb has decent base power, but considering it's non-stab, the worst attacking type in the game, and coming off of Bellossom's sad special attack, it's not exactly going to be looking like Nickelodeon out there.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Bellossom -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Pure Grass is a garbage type that reeks on both offense and defense, especially against the hordes of bugs you'll face in round 1. At least Bellossom's moves have decent base power, and if you manage to set up Sunny Day and Chlorophyll, you'll get really fast, which means you'll move first. And then what? Sneasel has the Inner Focus ability and is holding a Focus Sash. This is the elusive double focus build. Its moves are Ice Punch, Bite, Counter, and X-Scissor. Ice Punch and Bite are your dual stab options. One of them will probably knock out the opponent, and if not, you might be able to cheese a win with either a freeze or a flinch. Counter with Focus Sash is a desperation play. You're almost always better off going for guaranteed damage with your attacking moves. If you outspeed your opponent, which you probably do, and if you 2-hit KO them, which you probably do, you should just attack them twice instead of gambling on counter. X-Scissor isn't the move I would choose for coverage, but at least it has a high crit rate. Right?
So how did you like the food?
I rate Sneasel 0 stars. Finally, some good food.
I'm glad you liked it, Chef.
Alongside Haunter, it's in contention for the best Pokemon in the game, with worse stats overall but way better attacks, and probably the single best held item among rentals. With Focus Sash, Sneasel can at the very least go 1-for-1 in almost any matchup. More often than not, Sneasel just sweeps the entire enemy team. This set almost resembles a real moveset that a bad player would run. Just swap Bite for Night Slash. Quick question, 125 base speed to be exact. Why isn't this a Weavile? Weavile is in the game. Would that be too much power for free-to-play? It's not even free-to-play, this game costs $50. Lopunny has the cute charm ability and is holding... Big Root, oh boy. Its moves are Dizzy Punch, Defense Curl, Mirror Coat, and Drain Punch. Dizzy Punch is your best move by far, as a 70 base power stab normal move with a chance to confuse. Return would be way better, which is probably why they didn't give it to you. Fun fact, did you know Baniri is exceptionally ornery and has bad starting friendship? Return would just be too good otherwise. Defense Curl is baffling. Lopunny is made of paper, crumpling up into a ball isn't gonna fix that. Mirror Coat is baffling. Lopunny will never survive any move worth reflecting. Drain Punch is baffling? I truly have no idea what recipe they were following here. Early Pokemon tended to way overvalue lifesteal effects. It's a large part of why Grass was such ass. All their moves had massive base power taxes levied against them because lifesteal was such a broken mechanic apparently. Nowadays they've come to their senses and decided that the value of a lifesteal effect is about 15 base power short, a significant hit to damage without rendering the moves unusable. Modern Drain Punch has 75 base power. Gen 4 Drain Punch only has 60, and a measly 5 PP. And no, the Big Root seasoning does not save this dish. Big Root only increases healing received. Why not use an item to boost Drain Punch's damage, which would then also increase the healing received? If only Grotle wasn't hogging the one and only legendary Fist Plate.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Lopunny -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Fast Dizzy or Drain Punch that fails to knock out the opponent before Lopunny itself keels over. It's about the most you can expect. At least Big Root Drain Punch Lopunny is so absurd it made filming the intro a breeze. So thanks for that, I guess. Lumineon has the Storm Drain ability and is holding the Damp Rock. Its moves are Surf, Captivate, Rain Dance, and Psybeam. Surf would be a good stab option, and Psybeam would be a whatever coverage option, if not for this. 69 base special attack. Not nice. Captivate is horrendous. It's a special version of Charm with the same restriction as Attract. If you win 2 coin flips to find a special attacker of the opposite gender as you then get to waste your turn dropping their special attack stat. Amazing. Rain Dance dispels fog and boosts water moves, both outgoing and incoming. Keep in mind that Storm Drain only gained the damage negation and special attack buff in Gen 5. Here in Gen 4, it just means Lumineon gets clobbered instead of your teammate, which, to be fair, is the most useful thing Lumineon can do. I'd recommend sacrificing this thing to unlock the guidance, guilt-free.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Lumineon -3 stars. It's raw! You haven't cooked it!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Truly horrific stats, only saved by a good move and water being a good type. This thing is the distilled essence of C tier. It's just so lame. They say there's plenty of fish in the sea. If they're Lumineon, I think I'm with Team Magma on this one. I give Daisy's Darlings Pass an overall rating of 0 stars! Best pass in the game! It's hard carried by Focus Sash Sneasel, and Golbat and Bellossom in the wings aren't unusable or anything, just kinda stinky. I'd be shocked if it took more than one attempt to earn the pass just spamming Sneasel. The 5th course is Joel's Jocks, featuring Machoke, Sudowoodo, Piloswine, Hypno, Camerupt, and Mach. Joel becomes available to earn after clearing the Sunny Park Coliseum. Machoke has the No Guard ability and is holding a Quick Claw. Its moves are Dynamic Punch, Foresight, Seismic Toss, and Ice Punch. They say no guts, no glory, but No Guard Dynamic Punch is pretty glorious. On top of dealing massive damage, you then get a 50-50 to skill your way into winning a bad matchup. You can use Foresight to identify ghosts and make them vulnerable to your fighting moves. But how about I identify Foresight itself to uncover a useless move? Seismic Toss will do 50 set damage. I can't vouch for the practicality of this move, since even resisted Dynamic Punch will probably do more. You don't toss for the damage. You toss because it's the hypest animation in Pokemon history. Hurled by Seismic Toss! Ice Punch is your no-frills coverage option. Just keep in mind that Neutral Dynamic Punch actually does the same damage as a 2x super effective Ice Punch.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Machoke -1 star. It's bland. It's not seasoned.
I'm sorry, Chef.
I wanted to rate this beefcake 0 stars, but he's been skimping on the cardio. This speed stat is poop. Still, Machoke hits really hard, and the 2-cheese blend of Dynamic Punch Confusion and 20% Quick Claw activation can make for some disgustingly unfair turns, which is totally fine when it's unfair in your favor. Sudowoodo has the Sturdy ability and is holding a Smooth Rock. Its moves are Rock Slide, Stealth Rock, Sandstorm, and Fire Punch. Rock Slide is alright in singles and great in doubles, though you can forget about ever getting a flinch. Stealth Rock is arguably the best move ever in 6v6 singles, which does not exist in the round 1 playthrough. For 3v3 singles or 4v4 doubles, Stealth Rock is utter rubbish. Speaking of refuse, I refuse to manually use Sandstorm. I guess it dispels fog? And this is Gen 4, so with the Rock-type special defense boost, you now survive even the mighty Bubble Beam. That was definitely worth a turn of setup, right? Fire Punch is decent coverage, great against all the bugs that you already squash with Rock Slide.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Sudowoodo -2 stars. It's rancid!
I'm sorry, Chef.
You might think that's a bit low considering Sudowoodo's okay moves and reasonable physical stats, but horrific speed and rock typing is a death sentence. At least Sturdy means you're guaranteed at least 1 turn, right? Wrong! The Focus Sash effect was added in Gen 5, which means that all Sturdy does is block the one-hit KO moves that I didn't encounter a single time in my playthrough. Sturdy. More like Turdy! 'Cause it stinks. Please subscribe. Piloswine has the Snow Cloak ability and is holding an Icy Rock. Its moves are Ice Fang, Body Slam, Hail, and Earthquake. Ice Fang is aggressively okay. I'd complain about this not being Icicle Crash, except that Icicle Crash was added in Gen 5, so this was the best option. Body Slam has its uses. If you know you can't get a one-hit kill otherwise, might be worth banking on the 30% chance to allow you to act first on your second turn. You can forget about ever moving first against unparalyzed opponents. Piloswine has 50 base speed. What the hell were they thinking with the hail weather condition? It's so bad. Dispels fog and activates Snow Cloak, I guess. It then chips every other member of your team. Great synergy. Blizzard isn't on your moveset, and this is Gen 4, so it wouldn't matter anyway, but I have to mention that Gen 3 Hail didn't even make Blizzard auto-hit. It's so useless. Earthquake is really good. If the enemy is grounded, you should probably use Earthquake. It's one of the strongest moves you have access to on the rental pass. Just be careful in doubles given the lack of flying partners.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Piloswine -1 star. It's bland. It's not seasoned.
I'm sorry, Chef.
Excellent dual stab combo. You can't go wrong with effective 150 base power Earthquake. Well, you can go a little wrong. You can get blown up before you ever act because you have horrible speed and defensive typing. Quick question, 80 base speed to be exact. Why isn't this a Mamoswine? Mamoswine is in the game. Would that be too much power for free to play? It's not even free to play. This game costs $50. Hypno has the Forewarn ability and is holding leftovers. Its moves are Hypnosis, Zen Headbutt, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch. Hypnosis with the 70% Daipa accuracy is turn advantage on average, and Zen Headbutt backed up by 2 elemental punches means you very rarely whiff on attacking options.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Hypno 0 stars. Finally, some good food.
I'm glad you liked it, Chef.
Standards are so low here, even though Hypno has painfully mediocre stats. Leftovers gives it great sustain, and between Hypnosis disables and the legit move pool, Hypno is basically an auto pick. I'm not biased. I just really like Hypno. And so should you. Camerupt has the solid rock ability and is holding a Pasho Berry. Its moves are Magnitude, Will-O-Wisp, Lava Plume, and Yawn. Magnitude's average damage output is okay. It can even high roll to be stronger than Earthquake, but most turns you'll just wish this was Earthquake. Will-O-Wisp can take a physical attacker out of commission, though status that doesn't incapacitate usually isn't worth the turn in 3v3 or 4v4. Lava Plume is okay stab in singles and unusable in doubles. You don't have a single Flashfire partner that doesn't also get singed by Lava Plume. Great move choice. Yawn is a reliable disable effect. Is what I would say, except it has extreme anti-synergy with either the guaranteed burn from Will-O-Wisp or the 30% burn chance from Lava Plume.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Camerupt -4 stars. It's burned! Have you been living under a stealth rock? Ash isn't the main character anymore!
I'm sorry, Chef.
This thing is Hoenn incarnate. Horrible mixed offenses that fall short of anything halfway useful, worthless defensive typing, and an atrocious speed stat that makes my entire analysis a waste of time for the both of us. What does Camerupt do? It dies instantly before acting, every time. And no, the Pasho Berry does not save it. Mach has the ability Sticky Hold and is holding the Black Sludge. Its moves are Sludge, Shadow Punch, Brick Break, and Curse. On top of being the worst attacking type in the game, Sludge is a special attack. I wouldn't exactly be jumping for joy if this were Poison Jab, but it should have been Poison Jab. Shadow Punch and Brick Break actually combine for perfect neutral coverage, and backed up by Curse boosts, can actually cause the opponent's health bar to decrease.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Muck 0 stars. Finally, some good food.
I'm glad you liked it, Chef.
This recipe is incredibly scuffed, but it has echoes, great game by the way, of a real set. The head chef would ditch the poison move, maybe swap Brick Break for Drain Punch, and use Priority Shadow Sneak instead of Shadow Punch. But if you were to go muckraking in the depths of Gen 4 NU, you might actually find someone attempting some mukbang gaming. You wanna know what's really sad? Grab a tissue. Not because of muck spelled backwards, come on. You ready to cry? Muck, at an even 500 BST, has the highest base stat total of any Rental Pass Pokemon. Muck. Muck! I give Joel's Jocks an overall rating of -1 star. There are some heavy hitters, but this entire pass is mired in molasses. These speed stats are horrible. If you move first and knock out the opponent, you can't lose. If you move second, you might still win, but it's gonna be a lot more work. And there's a lot more that can go wrong. The 6th and final course is Natalie's Noobs, featuring Seadra, Togetic, Pikachu, Dugtrio, Vespiquen, and Cherim. Natalie becomes available to earn alongside Joel after clearing the Sunny Park Coliseum. Seadra has the Sniper ability and is holding a Scope Lens. Its moves are Bubble Beam, Flash Cannon, Focus Energy, and Aurora Beam. Bubble Beam being your best attack is indicative of how dire this moveset is. 65 base power Suds couldn't even sweep the floor. Flash Cannon is suspicious even on Steel types, no idea why it's on Seadra. The whole point of this set is to get 6 sniper crits using Focus Energy. With the held scope lens and a turn spent getting pumped with Focus Energy, you can achieve a 33% crit rate. 33% chance to deal triple damage! 77% chance to deal normal damage! 100% chance to have wasted your Focus Energy turn. Awful! Aurora Beam is okay, I wish this was Ice Beam.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Seadra -4 stars. It's burned! Have you been living under a stealth rock? Ash isn't the main character anymore!
I'm sorry, Chef.
This thing is shockingly bad, so much worse than you'd think at first. Sniper Permacrit Draco Meteor Kingdra is kind of a thing with Gen 6 crit mechanics, but in Gen 4 it's a horrible gimmick, and that's not even the worst news for Seadra. For as much as we clown on special defense and resistance on this channel, it's not completely useless, and when you have paper bulk of 55 HP and 45 special defense, and are dependent on a setup turn, you'll just die to random neutral special hits. It's so sad. I think it's hilarious that the Gen 2 special stat split nerfed Seadra's special defense by 50, just to give those 50 points right back with the Kingdra evolution. Because Seadra was such a meta tyrant, right? We could have gotten Seadra from Dark Cloud, cool guy. Could have gotten Seadra from Fire Emblem 1, cute girl. But no, we get Seadra from Pokemon. What a shame. Togetic has the Serene Grace ability and is holding a Bright Powder. Its moves are Follow Me, Flamethrower, Ancient Power, and Silver Wind. Follow Me is useless in singles and can allow Togetic to sacrifice itself in doubles, which is the most utility you'll ever get out of this thing. Flamethrower is a great move, and with Serene Grace it has a 30% burn chance. It's a better Scald, right? Hold that thought. Ancient Power and Silver Wind have disappointing base powers of 60, but with Serene Grace, that's a 20% chance to Omni Boost. Sounds decent, right? Hold that thought.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Togetic -5 points!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Apology accepted. This is one bad egg. There's nothing candid I can say about this thing without getting demonetized. Quick question, 80 base speed to be exact. Why isn't this a Togekiss? Forget about an abuse of free-to-players. Making us use Togetic calls for a United Nations intervention. Golbat, Sneasel, and Piloswine are all pretty bad Pokemon with great evolutions. Togetic is an abomination with a great evolution. Look at the gulf in stats between Togetic and Togekiss. It is nothing short of obscene. YouTube, don't ban me.
How bad is Togetic? I was unable to outdamage the Aqua Ring healing of Seaking. -5 stars!
Pikachu has the static ability and is holding a Light Ball. Its moves are Discharge, Brick Break, Fake Out, and Protect. Discharge is a pretty good move. There's even Dugtrio on the same pass who can dodge the collateral damage in doubles. Brick Break is another solid move. Fighting is always a useful coverage type. Fake Out is free damage, wow! Protect is great for letting your partner die in doubles or avoiding 2-turn moves in singles.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Pikachu -3 stars. It's raw! You haven't cooked it!
I'm sorry, Chef.
The Light Ball doubles Pikachu's offenses, making it mightier than Rayquaza. Asterisk. The Light Ball doubles the actual attack stats, which means you get double return out of IVs and EVs, but if you don't have those properly set up, then you get a worthless rodent with Carvana tier defenses that flops over before actually getting any kills. Dugtrio has the Sandveil ability and is holding a King's Rock. Its moves are Magnitude, Shadow Claw, Slash, and Double Team. Magnitude is, on average, fine. I wish this was Earthquake though. Shadow Claw and Slash are the exact same move, but type shifted. Shadow Claw you'll probably use at some point, Slash you probably won't. Double Team is there for some desperate, last resort evasion cheese.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Dugtrio 0 stars. Finally, some good food.
I'm glad you liked it, Chef.
It's the fastest rental pass Pokemon in the entire game, which means that alongside Focus Sash Sneasel, it's guaranteed to at least do something. Being able to sweep weakened enemies or outspeed and knock out other fast, frail Pokemon is really valuable. There's even the 10% chance to call upon the king and get a flinch. Terrible gimmick, but it's the only way you'll ever survive an enemy turn. Vespiquen has the Pressure ability and is holding a Charty Berry. Its moves are Confuse Ray, Heal Order, Attack Order, and Aerial Ace. Confuse Ray is, on average, not going to go in your favor. I wouldn't bother with it. Heal Order is Bad Roost, which is kind of sad considering it's a signature move. It's just a standard recovery move without the flying type manipulation. Attack Order is a good stab move. Too bad it's bug type stab. And hey, Aerial Ace, welcome back. It hits through fog.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Vespiquen -3 stars. It's raw! You haven't cooked it!
I'm sorry, Chef.
Better stats than you might think. Unfortunately, Vespiquen is a defensive Pokemon with one of the worst defensive types in the game. If you want to topple the Monarchy, all you need is Rock Throw. Just kidding! Don't forget the clutch Charty Berry. You might have to use Stone. I thought Cherrim was the Gen 5 rival. What are they doing here? Cherrim has the Flower Gift ability and is holding a Heat Rock. Its moves are Solar Beam, Helping Hand, Sunny Day, and Worry Seed. Solar Beam is okay if it's sunny, dreadful if it's not. Helping Hand is literally useless in singles and mostly useless in doubles. You know what does more damage than attacking once at 1.5 damage? Attacking twice at 1x damage. Sunny Day is very important for Cherrim since it activates its Flower Gift ability, giving both itself and its partner a 1.5 boost to attack and special defense. What a weird combo. Cherrim can't use the attack boost at all, so I hope your partner can. Worry Seed changes the target's ability to insomnia, making them immune to sleep. This is worse than useless on enemies as it will almost always upgrade their ability, and not worth using on allies unless they're already asleep or something. I believe you're supposed to wombo combo this with Slacking, but there are 3 issues. 1, Slacking isn't even available to rent. 2, spending a turn to negate Truant has never been worth it. And 3, Worry Seed doesn't even negate Truant for some reason.
So how did you like the food?
I rate Cherrim -4 stars. It's burned. Have you been living under a stealth rock? Ash isn't the main character anymore.
I'm sorry, Chef.
Being completely unable to attack on turn 1 is atrocious. And even with Sunny Day up, your only attacking move is Solar Beam. You'll be lucky to even hit a single one of your enemy's Pokemon for neutral. It's a bit better in doubles where Flower Gift actually has a partner to buff, but even there, it's locked to Sunny Day turn 1, when a Haunt or Sneasel comp could just attack and knock out both enemies each turn. I give Natalie's Noobs an overall rating of -5 stars. The worst battle pass by far. Dugtrio is the only usable Pokemon, and that's only because it's great at securing kills for other teammates. It's very unlikely to be able to beat all 3 or 4 of the opponent's Pokemon on its own. Since this is one of the later passes, chances are the Gateway Coliseum has scaled up in difficulty thanks to you earning the earlier passes. So here's my advice. Just give up. If you surrender once or twice, the Coliseum will de-rank and become easier out of pity. Then maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to eke out a win with this trash.
And that's our review of all the menu items available here at Poketopia's Shade Chatot. What are my final thoughts on Genius Sonority's cuisine? You're probably amazed that I haven't said this for the entire video, and it's because I was saving it for this. Do not let them cook.
Negative reviews for the rentals, but glowing positive reviews for the mighty Patreons you see on screen now. Thank you, Patreons, for your support, and consider evolving into a mighty Patreon using the link in the description to help support great content like this. Additional thanks, as always, to the diligent interns for crafting many of these small emotes used throughout the video. An extra special thanks to Lab Agent Ash, link in the description, for making the wonderful Rental Nightmares logo. That's all from me. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Whenever that is.